Hey you guys, Kelsey here from Purple Arts. Today is Good Friday, and in celebration I wanted to do this cross painting. We were going to do one similar to this at the art center today, but we had to cancel it, so I didn't want the people who wanted to take this to miss out. And I will take you step by step on how to create this cross. So you're going to need some paint, canvas, paintbrushes, and a cup of water to wash out your paint. Based off of the photo that we did ours off of, the background was purple, and you can continue to do that. I'm going to use blue for that. So I need blue paint, brown paint, white, and a little bit of green. So you'll always want some brown, white, and green, and then depending on what you want your background to be, you can change your color up for that. So once you have all those materials out and about, we will start. The photo that we were going to do, it is purple in the background. I'm going to do mine blue, and I have a dark blue over here and the light blue, and I'm going to start with the dark blue all around. So if you're doing purple, one thing that we did for ours was it was a very dark purple, and then while it was still wet we added some white paint. I'm essentially going to do that but with our light blue. So we're just going to get on in here. So when you're painting you might need another layer or two depending on how thick you end up putting on your paint. And I put paper towels down because with this canvas I will get on the table. Now I like to use a big brush for this area. You can use whatever size brush you want. For some it might be easier to use a small brush to get those corners. The birds are nice and chirping today. We have our windows open. So as you can also see, I drew my cross on there. Just going to make it a little easier for you to start off with if you pre-draw the cross. I'm just putting that slight second coat over so it's a little darker. Okay. So I have that first coat on there. You can see that it's wet still. It's going to be a little bit for it to dry. But that's okay. While it's still wet, we can start going in with our lighter color, which I'm going to use a smaller paintbrush. I'm going to use a flat one. I don't know if it's going to focus for you, but you can kind of see. And we're kind of just going to move out from the sides. And if you feel like you've got too much of that lighter color, you can go back in with some streaks of the darker when you're done. So I'm going to go around this whole thing. And you can get some paint on that cross area. We're going to cover it, so don't worry about that. Trying to figure out how to best go about this area with my setup here. There we go. I think that looks nice and fun. Like I said, if you think that it's too light in areas, you can just go back with a little bit of that darker color. I'm enjoying mine, but I'll just show you guys. Like, you'll just darken it up just slightly. It's just a little bit of a back and forth. So I'm happy with that. Now what we're going to do is paint our cross brown. Again, you can use any color you want for any of these areas. So if you don't have the colors that we're using, that is okay. Now you can wait for that blue to dry if you want, or you can just go right into it. Some of that blue might appear in your cross if you don't quite let that dry. Again, I'm using the big brush. Some of you, depending on your size, might be a little more comfortable with the small brush. So when we were originally going to do it, we were going to use a big canvas, like 16 by 20. I have done mine on, I think, a 5 by 7, so it's definitely not going to take as long as what it would have taken us for the workshop. So again, you can do this on any size. So that's looking really cool, but the cross is just kind of there and flat. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a little bit of white while it's still wet and essentially do the same thing and just add some texture into that cross. And when I've been doing the texture ones, I've been using this small brush just to get in there. Now this will be one of those back and forths with the colors. So I put a lot of white on my brush. gonna go back in with some brown. Now if you like your cross to be just a solid color, that's fine too. There's no right or wrong in this. This is your piece of art if you're doing it. And then I actually have a little bit of gold here that I think would be really fun to put in. Just really make it shimmer and pop that way. Now I've let the middle of the cross kind of empty, and that's only because we're going to do a little bit of a design over top. Okay, so we have the cross and the background all done. I am happy and satisfied with that. So now what we're going to do is wait for it to dry, because we're going to then put some fun stuff all over it. So when we come back, it will be all dry, and then we'll get on to the next part. Alright, so now we're ready for the next step. So in our sample, we put a lot of little fun doodads around, and you'll see what I mean by doodads in a second. We used white and a little bit of green. You can use whatever colors you want. I'm sure you guys might have a limited palette at home, so please choose how you feel is best. I'm going to stick with white, and I'm going to use a tip, a brush that has a little more of a tip. The other one was a little more flat. And we're going to start by making these little swooshes. Start right here and swoosh. And we're going to do that all the way around. So what I suggest is doing the first one, your second, your third, your fourth, then your fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth. And these don't have to be perfect. They can be however you want them to look. You don't even have to make the same swooshes that I do. And I think in the in-between, I'm going to do them opposite of what we're going this way. I might have messed up on that one, but that's okay. We'll still make it look good. So now we got some fun swooshes. And we're just gonna kind of keep elaborating on those. And you can put as much or as little of these on your piece as you want. I'm just adding some little dots just to add some fun. Like I said, you can do it any way you want. You don't even have to do this if you don't want to. You can do as little or as much as you want. I'm going to add a little bit of green into some of these. Think I want to jazz it up a little. I'm going to add a little bit of orange into these ones, just so it's not so flat. think I'm going to do now, I'm not quite sure if it's going to show up awesome or not, but I'm going to put little dots around my cross with that gold I have. Now this was not on our sample that we made. This is just me adding to it. I just want to show you guys that you can make it your own. So with my dots, I'm using the end of my paintbrush. They usually make pretty good dots. If you guys end up making or recreating this painting, or if you do any kind of Good Friday or Easter themed painting, I'd love to see them in the comments. I want to see what everybody's doing while they're at home. I know doing art has kept me a little more sane during my days. Gives me something to do with my hands and concentrate, and something to see that I accomplished. All right, that's looking awesome. So I think I am going to keep it like that. You can add more frou-frou, less frou-frou. You can even stop from the background and the cross if you are satisfied with that. You can even add a little bit of a scripture on the side if you want. That's all up to you guys. Again, this is going to be your piece of art. Do with it as you wish. So I hope you had a good time with this painting, and I hope you have a great Easter weekend. So yeah, have a great one, and we'll see you next time.